prepared to be moved. Today we uncover the most heart-wrenching photos ever captured, from the haunting shadows of war to the relentless fury of nature and the gut-wrenching depths of personal loss. These images will touch your soul. These are more than just pictures. They are raw, unfiltered glimpses into the depths of human emotion. Join us as we delve into the stories behind these unforgettable images. Stories that will break your heart and remind you of the resilience of the human spirit. Number 10. The Falling Man. This photograph was taken by Richard Drew, a photojournalist for the Associated Press, on September 11, 2001. It captures a man falling headfirst from the North Tower of the World Trade Center.
It's a very quiet photograph. It's a person falling headfirst from the World Trade Center
during the terrorist attacks. The photo is both haunting and controversial, encapsulating the human tragedy of that day. The identity of the man remains uncertain, though some believe he may have been a worker from the windows on the World Restaurant. The image sparked debates about the ethics of publishing such a graphic and personal moment, and it stands as a stark reminder of the desperation and horror faced by those trapped in the towers. Despite the initial outrage, the photograph has also been viewed as a symbol of the unimaginable choices people had to make in their final moments and serves as a poignant memorial to the lives lost on 9/11s. Number 9. The Sudanese Girl and the Vulture. The photograph, taken by Kevin Carter in 1993, is one of the most haunting and evocative images of human suffering. It depicts a frail, starving child collapsed on the ground, with a vulture ominously perched in the background, seemingly waiting for the child to die. This image was captured during the famine in Sudan, a time when countless lives were lost due to starvation and disease. Carter's photograph brought international attention to the severe humanitarian crisis in Sudan, highlighting the dire conditions faced by its people. The image, which won the Pulitzer Prize in 1994, became a powerful symbol of the suffering and neglect experienced by the most vulnerable populations in conflict zones. However, the image also sparked considerable controversy and ethical debate. Many questioned Carter's decision to photograph the scene rather than intervene to help the child. Carter later revealed that he waited for about 20 minutes, hoping the vulture would fly away, before finally taking the picture. He chased the bird away afterwards, but did not help the child reach the feeding center. Oh, this moral dilemma weighed heavily on Carter. In his suicide note, he expressed his deep anguish and torment, stating, "I am haunted by the vivid memories of killings and corpses and anger and pain, of starving or wounded children." His death by suicide at the age of 33, just months after receiving the Pulitzer Prize, underscored the immense psychological toll that witnessing such suffering can have on journalists and photographers. The image remains a stark reminder of the complexities and ethical challenges faced by those who document human suffering. It also serves as a poignant call to action, urging the world to respond to humanitarian crises with compassion and support. Number 8. The Burning Monk. The image of the burning monk, Thich Quang Duc, became one of the most iconic and powerful photographs of the 20th century. On June 11, 1963, Thich Quang Duc, a Vietnamese Mahayana Buddhist monk, self-immolated at a busy intersection in Saigon, now Ho Chi Minh City, to protest the persecution of Buddhists by the South Vietnamese government, led by President Ngo Dinh Diem. This act was a response to the oppressive policies of Diem, who was a Roman Catholic and whose regime discriminated against the Buddhist majority in various ways. The government's policies included banning the flying of the Buddhist flag, discriminatory religious laws, and violent crackdowns on Buddhist protests. David Halberstam, a journalist for the New York Times, witnessed and reported on the event, highlighting the monk's extraordinary composure. He described Thich Quang Du sitting in a lotus position, silent and motionless, even as the flames consumed him. Malcolm Brown, an Associated Press photographer, captured the searing image of the monk engulfed in flames, which quickly spread around the world, bringing international attention to the plight of Vietnamese Buddhists. The photograph and the act of self-immolation had a profound impact. It increased global awareness and condemnation of the South Vietnamese government's policies. The international outrage contributed to the growing pressure on the United States to reconsider its support for Dien's regime, which was eventually overthrown in a coup later that year. Thich Quang Ducey's self-immolation is remembered as a powerful symbol of protest and sacrifice. It remains a poignant reminder of the lengths to which individuals will go to stand against oppression and injustice. Number 7. Alan Kurdi, the boy who washed ashore. Alan Kurdi, a 3-year-old Syrian boy of Kurdish descent, became a poignant symbol of the refugee crisis when a photograph of his lifeless body, washed ashore on a Turkish beach, went viral in September 2015. Alan, his 5-year-old brother Galip, and their mother Rihanna drowned while attempting to cross the Mediterranean Sea from Turkey to Greece in an overcrowded inflatable boat. The family was fleeing the brutal civil war in Syria, seeking refuge and a better life in Europe. Alan's father, Abdullah Kurdi, survived the tragic incident and later recounted their harrowing journey. The Kurdi family had initially sought asylum in Canada, where Abdullah's sister lived, but their application was rejected due to complications and limitations in the asylum process. Facing limited options and growing desperation, they decided to undertake the perilous sea crossing. The image of Alan's small body, lying face down in the sand, resonated deeply around the world, bringing the human aspect of the refugee crisis to the forefront. It triggered a massive outpouring of grief, outrage, and calls for action from the international community. The photograph became a catalyst for increased awareness and advocacy for refugees, highlighting the need for safer migration routes, better support for asylum seekers, and more comprehensive international responses to humanitarian crises. Number 6. Omayra Sánchez. Omayra Sánchez was a young Colombian girl who tragically became a symbol of the Omayra tragedy, one of the deadliest volcanic disasters in history. On November 13, 1985, the Nevado del Ruiz volcano erupted, causing massive lahars that buried the town of Omayra. Omayra was trapped in the debris of her house for several days, and despite rescue efforts, she could not be saved. Her story gained international attention due to the poignant and heartbreaking images and footage of her suffering. These images highlighted the inadequate disaster preparedness and response in the region. Omayra's courage and the poignant circumstances of her death brought global attention to the disaster, resulting in increased humanitarian aid and prompting discussions on improving emergency response systems. Number 5. The Last Jew in Vinnitsa. This is a haunting photograph taken during the Holocaust, which depicts the final moments of a Jewish man in Vinnitsa, Ukraine, in 1941. The image shows the man kneeling at the edge of a mass grave, surrounded by German Einsatzgruppen soldiers who were responsible for mass shootings during the Nazi invasion of the Soviet Union. The soldiers appear indifferent as one of them aims his rifle at the back of the man's head. This photograph captures a small but harrowing part of the larger genocide, where more than 24,000 Jews in Vinnitsa were systematically murdered. The Einsatzgruppen mobile killing units followed the advancing German army and conducted mass executions of Jews, Romani people, political commissars, and other groups considered undesirable by the Nazi regime. The Last Jew in Vinnitsa symbolizes the brutal efficiency of the Holocaust and the personal tragedies experienced by millions of victims. The image has become one of the many stark reminders of the atrocities committed and the importance of remembering and learning from this dark chapter in human history. Number 4. The Napalm Girl. The Napalm Girl refers to Phan Thi Kim Phuc, a Vietnamese woman who gained international attention as a child during the Vietnam War. On June 8, 1972, she was photographed running down a road, naked and screaming in pain, after a South Vietnamese Air Force napalm attack on the village of Trang Bang. The photograph, taken by Associated Press photographer Nick Utute, captures the horror of war and became one of the most iconic and influential images of the 20th century. Kim Phuc, severely burned by the napalm, was taken to a hospital where she underwent extensive treatment, including numerous surgeries. Her photograph significantly influenced public opinion about the Vietnam War, highlighting the devastating impact on civilians, especially children. After the war, Kim Phuc continued to suffer from her injuries but eventually moved to Canada, where she became a citizen in 1992. She later established the Kim Foundation International, a non-profit organization that provides medical and psychological assistance to children affected by war. Her story is a powerful reminder of the human cost of conflict and the enduring resilience of the human spirit. Number 3. The Starving Boy and the Missionary. The image of the starving boy and the missionary, taken by Mike Wells in Uganda, is a powerful and haunting photograph that has become a symbol of famine and humanitarian crisis. Captured in 1980, the photograph shows a stark contrast between the skeletal figure of a starving boy and the well-fed hand of a missionary holding his tiny wrist. The photograph was taken during a severe famine in the Karamoja region of Uganda, an area that was suffering from extreme drought, poverty, and food shortages. This image encapsulates the dire situation faced by many in the region and has been used to draw attention to the plight of those affected by famine and the need for international aid and intervention. Mike Wells, a British photojournalist, took this photograph with the intent to document the devastating impact of the famine. The image gained widespread recognition and has been published in various media outlets, becoming one of the most iconic images representing humanitarian crises. The photograph highlights these key themes. Human suffering. It vividly portrays the physical toll of starvation and malnutrition, capturing the boy's frail body and the stark reality of his condition. Aid and compassion. The presence of the missionary's hand suggests an effort to help and support, symbolizing the role of humanitarian workers and organizations in providing aid during crises. Inequality. The contrast between the boy and the missionary's hand emphasizes the vast disparity in living conditions and resources between different parts of the world. Overall, the image serves as a poignant reminder of the ongoing issues of famine and the importance of global efforts to combat hunger and provide relief to those in need. Number 2. The Migrant Mother. The Migrant Mother photograph, captured by Dorothea Lange in 1936, is a poignant representation of the struggles faced by American families during the Great Depression. Florence Owens Thompson, the woman in the photo, was a destitute pea picker in Nipomo, California. The photograph captures her with 3 of her 7 children, their faces turned away from the camera, emphasizing her protective and pensive demeanor. Lange took the photo while working for the Farm Security Administration (FSA), an agency established to combat rural poverty. The image quickly became a powerful symbol of the era, highlighting the dire conditions faced by migrant workers and evoking widespread empathy. It helped to raise awareness about the harsh realities of the Depression and spurred public and governmental response to improve living conditions. The photo's impact was profound, both artistically and socially. It is lauded for its composition and emotional depth, making it one of the most famous documentary photographs in history. For many, it encapsulates the resilience and suffering of the human spirit during one of America's most challenging periods. Number 1. The Falling Soldier. The Falling Soldier, also known as Loyalist Militiaman at the moment of death, is a famous photograph taken by Robert Capa during the Spanish Civil War. Captured on September 5, 1936, it depicts a soldier, reportedly Federico Borrell Garcia, at the exact moment he is shot and falling to his death. The photograph was published in Life magazine and became one of the most iconic war images of the 20th century. The photo's authenticity has been debated for years. Critics have questioned whether the scene was staged, given the difficulties of capturing such a precise moment in the heat of battle. Nonetheless, the image powerfully symbolizes the brutality and immediacy of war, and it significantly contributed to Kapa's reputation as one of the greatest war photographers. Regardless of its authenticity, the falling soldier remains a poignant and influential depiction of the cost of conflict, representing the vulnerability and sacrifice of individuals caught in war. These images, though difficult to view, remind us of the profound impact of human suffering and the importance of empathy and action. We hope this journey through some of the saddest moments captured on camera inspires you to reflect on our shared humanity and the need for compassion in our world. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for more thought-provoking content.